I started my own agency 8.5 years ago. Next week, it'll be 8.5 years. Left a $50 million premium with one carrier.
Woo.
Right. I was an athlete back in the day in high school. My real name is Don Tiaco, but my nickname was Taco. Played with a lot of good players, had a good name. So I was always team captain, student body president, all that stuff. So I was a natural leader.
If you give free coaching, then nobody shows up. You have to exchange for it, some kind of pain, something to tie you to it.
We just released a commercial today. We call ourselves the Big Check Express.
Oh, I freaking love it.
And what young agents, this is great advice to young agents, is you're practicing what to say to them, but they're not practicing their rebuttal to you, right?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Wilson with Capital Insurance Group. And the craziest thing that ever happened in my agency, I actually wasn't present for this, but we had a guy walk in off the streets. We have a retail location, storefront, ground level, kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
retail store location. And we had a guy walk in, and he made some pretty tough threats at some of my staff. And he threatened that he had grenades in his
Whoa.
rear end. In his rear end. And to come to find out, this guy had done the same thing in Utah. My employees Googled the guy. He had done the same thing in Utah. And we're not anywhere close to Utah, but he had made his way. I guess he was doing a world tour or countrywide tour of rear end grenades.
With
And
grenades up the butt. Huh.
Oh my
yes,
God.
yes. So
I've heard of a
yeah,
lot of things from some ER people, but never a grenade.
yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. But yeah, I'm Don Wilson. We have offices. I'm the owner of Capital Insurance Group. We have offices in West Virginia, North Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio.
Woo!
And I'm an insurance dude.
Yes, you are.
Boom.
Boom! Wow.
Speaking of
Grenades.
boom,
Yeah,
Grenades up the
speaking of
butt,
boom,
man.
I wonder if
Yeah,
had he pulled the pin, or was
right,
there like a string attached?
right. I wonder if we would have had, removal of that in our policy.
I don't know. Yeah. Does that
The
fall under
remediation, the
acts
remediation of
acts,
that.
acts of terror?
Right.
he
Seriously,
might have pulled
seriously.
the pin, but it was held together.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
right.
yeah, the little one of those ones with a little clamp on the side.
Yeah, true story, man. That my employees just reminded me of that. I had totally forgot.
So I
Dude, that
wonder,
is a good story.
is he in more trouble if there's actually a grenade than if there's not a grenade?
Yeah, I mean, I think the threat of that is just as bad as the actual. I
Yeah.
mean, my employees were a little traumatized. We're next door to a barber shop, and the barbers all came running, like trying to get him out of the
Yeah.
office, and
So
and he made his way out.
I thought you were going to tell a story about an employee that walked out doing the double birds,
Nope, that happened
and
too.
and then he pivoted to the grenade story, which we hadn't heard. So
Well,
pretty good.
and the
Want to
initial
catch you
one
guys off guard.
was two police chases in the same
Yeah,
week. So you got some good
yeah.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. 18 years of being in the business, 8 as an owner. You see it all. But luckily, I didn't see it all with the grenade guy.
And at the beginning, he's like, I don't know. Let me ask my employees. I can't think of
I don't
anything.
have anything.
And then he starts pulling out gold.
So,
Right.
so tell us about how you got into this business and what I mean, insurance. I mean, I know everybody says it when they're little kids in school. I want to
Oh,
be an
yeah.
insurance agent.
Right. That's my
Yeah,
running joke. Yeah. I do a ton of public speaking. I'm like, who wants to be an insurance agent? No one's ever raised their hand.
never.
And so, yeah, so for me, a funny story. It's kind of come full circle for me. I grew up on the west side of Charleston, West Virginia, and I used to own a retail clothing store at 218 West Washington Street. So I was 21 to 25 or 6. I had two retail clothing stores, but my first location was 218 West Washington Street. Okay. I now own my retail insurance agency at 216 West
Whoa.
Washington. So next door, I used to have a clothing store to where my primary headquarters is in Charleston, West Virginia. So it's a full circle story for me. I got in the business 18 years ago after owning retail clothing stores in Charleston, West Virginia, and Huntington, West Virginia. And the reason I got in is I was looking for people to help me with advice on my business and strategy and tactics to grow my business and protect my assets. And only one insurance agent and his dad had come into my office. Everyone else kind of had their hands out. Advertising is necessary, but when you're you're barely treading water to stay open, you kind of need an advisor. So I did some research on who advises businesses. I always assumed it was a CPA, which they do a great job. But what I found was it's financial advisors and insurance agents. And I never really had much desire to be a financial advisor. So I interviewed with two of the top mutual life insurance companies in the country and chose one and got into the business 18 years ago.
Gosh, bro,
Yeah.
both of those are tough to get started in, right? Because like, I always think about that, like financial advisor, or I mean, any kind of financial products in general. It's
Right.
hard to like. Hey, I'm starting a business, but by the way, I'm going to give you advice on on this.
Right, right. I'm
Right.
brand new. Right.
Yeah.
I'm brand new. Let me advise you. So
The-
what helped me was I was an athlete back in the day in high school. I was a pretty good athlete. My real name is Don Tiaco, but I go by Don. But my nickname was Taco. And so, and I was a pretty good player. I played with a couple guys that made it to the NFL. We were nationally ranked in
Oh,
high school
awesome.
in the nation and stuff like that. So played with a lot of good players, had a good name. So I was always team captain, student body president, all that stuff. So I was a natural leader. But I had recently dropped out of college, recently closed a business. So how is this guy that failed at these two things, right? Going to
yeah.
now tell me how to do right by my business and my but having been a business owner and I was fairly successful at the clothing business, it's just not enough money on the back end for me, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of overhead, the margins are low in retail and stuff like that. And I just said I wanted something different, and I was also trying to keep up with my wife who had just graduated law school,
Oh
and so
boy.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
gotta hang in there, and I gotta be able to hold my own weight.
Yeah.
What can I do to make money? What can I do to build on my name? And I'm not shy at all, so I didn't mind asking people to
Yeah.
give me an opportunity. So
Yeah.
it didn't work out at first, but I tell you what, my first year, I always tell people I made $28,000, and it was 2007 or so, and I got a job offer for like 75,000 plus commission selling advertising. And I told the lady, I go, that's not enough money for me. She goes,
Yeah.
sir, you had to send in your tax return,
Yeah.
before your last three pay stubs before we made this offer. Trust me, it's more money than you're making. I was like, it's not enough for me though.
Yeah.
I was always what I call it a hubris. I was always had a little false sense of pride, even at a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough. You're not, you look at, especially having there's some motivation, right? So your wife is just graduates, that she's going to be crushing it as an
Right,
attorney.
right,
And
right.
it's like, yeah, maybe you start at 75, but you're probably going to stay at 75 for a long
Right.
time,
That
right?
was that was the catch. I wanted
Yeah.
that unlimited income, man. I was
Yep.
after unlimited income,
Only
and
one
I
way.
worked at a retail store before I started mine, and I made commission. So I was used to commission. My grandfather had retired from teaching and then went into real estate, so I knew he was making commission, and so the residual income part of it appealed to me. But I've never, I know it's cliche, but I've never done this for money. I've done it for the right reasons, and it's ended up putting me in the right spot every time. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Gosh, it's so funny. Like, you think about those early times in business, and we talk to a lot of people that are on the other side of the success, and it's like, I love talking about the early days, because you think, like, what was I thinking
yeah,
making like
exactly.
28,000 the first
Yeah,
year, and like what gave me the balls to like push through that, and like most people don't do that. So
no,
it's like some
it's
sort of, you said it was ego, but I mean, like, you believed in yourself, like,
yeah, yeah, and it's a game of numbers and attrition. I
yeah.
mean, I had my wife's income to help me buy time. If I had a bad month, our income was still good. We hadn't had kids yet, things of that nature. And then, I remember going door to door. A couple of funny stories is I would call to like Beckley, West Virginia, which is like 45 minutes away because it's saturated in Charleston. It's the capital city, a lot of insurance agents. And I would call and I would say, hey, I'd get a list of doctors, dentists, and stuff like that. And I call and say, hey, I'm going to be in town Tuesday. And they go, man, Tuesday's booked. And I say, oh. funny enough, I'll be in town on Wednesday. They said, well, Wednesday's booked too. I go, well, funny enough, Thursday just opened up for me.
Love it.
And then eventually they were like, man, what is this guy up to?
He's not going to take it.
No matter what day you're available, I'm driving to Beckley. You could have said Sunday at 2
Yeah.
p.m. I'd have been on the turnpike driving to Beckley. And a funny thing that I did that I've now trained my employees, I call it stealing their no, right? I would drop off these packets of information, and I would go to doctors and dentists and all these different places, and I'd drop off these packets of information, and then I would call back 2 days later, and I'd say, "Can I speak to Dr. Jones?" And Dr. Jones would get on the phone, and he'd say, "Don, I haven't." I'd say, "This is Don Wilson. I got this idea." He'd say, "I haven't looked at your package yet. I'm sorry. I'll look at it next week." And then I would call like 30 people, and they'd all say the same. I haven't had time to look at your packet. Well, I started doing this, and I figured it out. Here's what I figured out. I would call and say, "Hey, Dr. Jones, I know you haven't had time to look at my packet,
Yeah.
but let me tell you what's in it." Well, Dr. Jones, what I figured out, and what young agents, this is great advice to young agents, is you're practicing what to say to them, but they're not practicing their rebuttal to you,
100%.
Yeah.
right? And so once I took Dr. Jones's no away, because he only had one,
Yeah.
right? Well, in our business, they teach you we want to hear three no's before you let the phone go, right? Well, Dr. Jones is trained to do dental work. He's not trained to tell insurance agents no. So his no was, "Don, I don't have time to look at the packet." I would say, "Hey, Dr. Jones, I know you haven't looked at this packet." And he said, so
It's
tell
like,
me about
does
the
not
packet.
compute.
Yeah, tell me about the packet then. And eventually, once I started talking, they realized they could benefit from 30-minute, 45-minute consultation with me, and that really took my career off.
Dude, I love that. That is such a
Yep.
good rebuttal right there. Like,
Yeah.
I know you haven't. You could use that for anything in any industry. I know you
Yes.
haven't. Oh, actually, I did look at it. Oh, okay, well, what did you like about it? like you
Talk
could go.
about it. Yeah.
It's the perfect. Uh,
Yeah.
it's the perfect. Like it goes in no matter what, it goes in the direction where you can do something with it.
Right. And they don't know what to say. I mean, they're not being trained. Hey, when Don Wilson calls, he's got a packet and stuff. Nobody's training them.
Oh,
They're
He's going to
working on
say
dental
that
stuff.
I didn't have
Right.
time for it. Then you got to
Right.
figure out
Right.
what to say.
But if he says that, you pivot to this. Like they're not,
Yeah.
they're
They're
not,
not
they're not
training.
being trained.
No.
Right? They're not
Yeah.
trained on how to tell us no. We're trained on how to get them to say yes.
Yeah.
And I call it stealing their no, and that's what I teach. My young advisors and agents at the agency is, you had to be ready, one, to pivot, but then two, don't expect success.
Yeah.
Right? Don't expect them to go, "Oh my goodness, I was waiting on your call." Like
Right.
because
Right.
they're not
It's so
waiting.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we focus on in all the businesses. Same thing, right? It's like, okay, we know there are only four or five things they can say, right? I need to
Right.
talk to my wife. I
Right.
need some time. I didn't look at whatever,
Right.
right? Like all the different things. But if you knock all those things out
Right.
beforehand, it's true, right?
Right.
They don't have anything to say, and
Yep. They don't have 4 or 5 rebuttals. They've got one. They got one weapon. If you
yeah,
take that weapon away, they're
yep,
defenseless. And
yep.
then now they can actually hear what they need to hear,
Mhm.
and you can become their advisor. And it's worked for me. 18 years in the business. Tons of clients over probably 27, 28 states. Offices in multiple locations, and it's really worked. It's been a good business. The worst advice I ever got that I've kind of followed almost is a guy named John Polly, who's a legend down here in West Virginia in the life insurance sales. He said, "Go out and buy something you can't afford, and you'll work hard enough to pay for it." And I said, "What?" And I've kind of done that, to be honest,
yeah.
but not knowing it, but it's always worked out. It's
Yeah,
always worked out.
Like human, we just like we don't do anything unless there's pressure to it, right?
yeah,
Right, right.
Yeah. We were even
Especially
talking
as
about this just before, like even like coaching, right? Everybody needs coaching, but then
right,
if you give free coaching, then nobody shows up, right? Then it's like,
exactly.
oh, it's free. You
Yep,
have to exchange for it, some kind of pain,
yep,
something to tie you to it.
yep,
So
yep.
interesting.
It can legitimize you, right?
Yeah.
The things that you do and the things that you put in front of yourself that motivate you, right?
Yeah.
I used to tell myself I was unemployed the first day of every month.
Yeah.
until I started until I was probably 2 years in my agency. And it kept me motivated, even though you get residuals and all that stuff. I was like, I'm unemployed. Whatever I did in June has nothing to do with July.
Wow,
You
you
know,
really light the fire.
yeah. I'm pretty intense when it
Yeah.
comes to insurance, but I have fun too, But at the same time, that was my motivation because I grew up, the way I grew up. My two, obviously working class parents. My mom was a temp agent. My dad was a cook at Bennigan's. And they always instilled in me, just outwork everybody. You
Yeah.
may not be the most talented at every single time, but if you work hard, you can put yourself in a position to win. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's it.
100%. Yeah,
No
because even if
question.
you suck, you outwork everybody. Eventually, you're going to be better than everybody because
Right,
you're outworking them.
right, right. Exactly. For the record, I don't suck, but
Yeah,
yeah, for those of you that do suck out there,
right.
if you, I'm extremely talented. I'm almost as talented as I am good looking.
Yeah.
That's the mindset you got to have.
Yeah.
I tell people I'm as humble as I am pretty. Yeah, yeah.
You got in the business 18 years ago, and you said 8 years ago you became a business owner.
Yeah, so I started my own agency 8.5 years ago. Next week it'll be 8.5 years on the first February 1st, 2017. Left a $50 million independent agency, over $50 million in premium with one carrier.
Wow.
Woo.
Right, right. So I left that agency, was a top two or three personalized producer at that agency. So you can imagine I wasn't hurting. I was doing just fine
Yeah.
at an agency that size. I had my piece of the pie and had a nice corner office, had, three assistants. In personal, had two on the commercial side, had a life assistant that did all the life cases for me. I came and went as I pleased, and had a nice residual income. And in every business I've ever worked in, like I said, I worked at the retail store, right? Started a clothing business. I wrote for the newspaper for like 12 weeks. I started a magazine. I started a magazine. And I had told my boss that every business I worked in, I work and then I start my own business. And he was like, oh, that's cool. But he never paid attention to that, I guess. And so 8.5 years ago, I started Capital Insurance Group with the mindset of being a true independent agency,
Hmm.
and no allegiance to any carriers, putting the clients in the driver's seat and trying to do what's right every single time by the carriers and by our clients. And it's really taken us off. We're up to about a $20 million book of business. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah,
wow.
In eight
appreciate
years,
it.
very impressive. From scratch,
Appreciate
huh?
it. Kinda. I've never had a non-compete. So 18 years of working,
Yeah.
obviously only 13 in the property and casualty world, but 18 total years of never having a non-compete. So I was able to move a lot of my clients,
Yeah.
gradually, in the right way. What made sense for my clients over the last 8.5 years.
Which is
Yeah.
why you got to listen to what the employees say, right? Like the employees, I have a like lifelong friend that he always says that your number one customer, your number one client, it's your staff, right? It's your
Yes.
team. That's your number one
Yes.
client. And we
Yes.
often it's easy to overlook because sometimes they're a little bit of a pain in the ass, right? And other times, but they're the ones that pay. They're the ones that pay the bills, right? So you got
Right.
to take care of them.
100%, 100%. We just my big motivation, and I've always said this, and it's the truth. Like when I see my employees buying like dream cars and homes and stuff like that's the coolest part for me. Like
Yep.
I created a business that is sustainable for families, other
Yeah,
than my family. And that's the
yeah,
coolest part for me. It's also a motivating factor, because there's a lot of pressure. You got a lot of people depending on your every decision. But you're right, 100%. We do benefits for the employees. They each get a large number of PTO hours and stuff like that. And I really am hands off. I like to
yeah,
give them advice, but I want them to interpret the business their own way because that's what made me successful. And I'd
yeah,
be crazy to take away what made me successful from someone else. Yeah,
yeah.
100% right. I like that mantra though. Your employees are your biggest
Yeah.
client.
I mean, we get
Yeah.
stuck in the, like, I think it's an ego thing where we get stuck
Yep.
in the how, like, it's got to be
Yep.
done this way. It's like, now it's
Yep.
like, who cares? I mean, and I think
Yeah.
Jason helped me move through that a lot too. It's like, it
That's
doesn't
a good
matter. It's
advice.
the outcome. Dude,
That's a
don't
great
focus on
advice.
the how, right? It's the what.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so cool.
we do king or queen for the day. Like if you could be
Oh,
king or queen, like what would you change? What would you add? What would you remove? What do you see? Because I never I always tell them I'm a little jealous. I never got a salary. I never made a salary in my
yeah,
life. Never got PTO. Never did. I had to build it on my own, right? And
yeah,
I'm always like, what would you do if you were in my seat? Because I always wanted my bosses in the past to give me that opportunity, right?
yeah,
That's one thing that I do that I was never afforded the opportunity to do. The other thing I like to pride myself on is being kosher and friends with the other agents. I don't care if they take my clients. I'm
yeah,
not going to be bitter about that stuff, man. I'm going to take them to lunch. I don't care. I don't hold a grudge when that stuff happens. Mainly because I've seen other people do that, and I've always been jealous of how attorneys coexist. Right? They're all going after the same, especially plaintiffs'
Mm.
attorneys. They're all going after the same people, right?
yeah.
But you'll see them at lunch together or dinner together, taking vacation together. Man, you'd never see two insurance agency owners.
Right,
you
right.
know, man,
I
they're
mean,
best friends.
even
Right.
the prosecutor and the
Right. Yes.
they'll hang out. It's
And
like,
the
wait a minute.
judge. They'll all go to dinner. Yes. But two insurance agents within a 45-minute drive of each other, like rivals. Like, come on,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
Like,
It is.
why is that the case?
I've always found that to be incredibly odd because it's like I have some family in the business and we all buy leads and they have different agencies. And when we snake each other, I mean, we buy the same leads sometimes, right? Like, and when we're able to sell them and they're not like, I love razzing them and they razz me. And it's like, it's fun, right? Like,
Yeah, I like that part of it. Yeah,
yeah,
listen. I'm gonna talk trash.
it's a
yeah. I
sport.
mean, I've gotten calls from other, and I know Jason has. I'm sure you have too. Calls from other agents saying that was our lead. You stole it. It's like I bought the lead just like you did. We're just better. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got a ton of plaintiffs' attorneys that are friends, and they all get along, and they're in the same. I mean, it's commission just like us. If they eat what they kill, and it's just like us, but they're so friendly to each other while
Yeah.
we're kind of
I wonder if
cutthroat.
their margins are a little better.
Slightly, slightly. They have a few more Porsches
Yeah.
and and private planes than we have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure,
Let
for
me ask
sure.
you, so you started with the financial side and then
Yeah.
you started getting more into the PNC side. Do you lead with the financial side and then try to cross sell into the PNC side?
So my role at the agency now is life, health, benefits, and then commercial,
Mm.
right? But we don't. We lead with the PNC side. I'm endorsed by Dave Ramsey. We lead with we're property and casualty first. Our bread and butter. Most of our clients are property and casualty clients, whether it be commercial or personal lines, but we still have some relationships with large insurance carriers that we do buy sell agreements. I'm a lot more well versed than most PNC agents in the country when it comes to buy sells or key man or employee retention stuff or golden handcuffs and things of that nature, because that's what I did exclusively for 4.5 almost 5 years. I didn't have another product other than life and disability, and
Hmm.
so you had to get creative. And the thing that I noticed about the life side is they were, and I have not, and that's why the name of my company's Capital Insurance Group, but they always shied away from the word insurance. They were like, let's do mortgage protection. Well,
Yeah.
that's a 30-year term policy. Let's do key man. Well, it's just
It's
insurance.
still just
Like, why don't you want to be an insurance agency or an insurance company? Anything but insurance. Don't tell them it's insurance,
Mm.
but it's insurance. And that's why I deliberately kept the name of my company, Capital Insurance Group, because we want to be everything insurance, but just insurance, right? We don't dabble in financial stuff. We don't do any, variable products. We don't even do annuities at our agency, because we want, when you think of insurance, to call us, no matter
yeah.
what it is. And we call ourselves, we just released a commercial today. We call ourselves the Big Check Express because we used to, when we first started, we would show up at your office. Let's say you called us, Craig, and you were with a carrier and you moved to our carrier and saved $923, right? We would say, hey man, we need to drop off your auto ID cards. And we want to do that in person, Craig. And you say, sure. and say, make
Yeah.
sure you're at the office because we want to do this face to face. Well, we would show up with a oversized check with your savings on the check and hand it to you. Take a picture and hashtag. Our big hashtag was I like big checks and I cannot lie.
Oh, I freaking love it.
That is so good.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. And it really, so the commercial today, it released today, this morning. And I walk into my BNI meeting this morning, and a guy goes, "Big Check Express." It just came out today. He goes, "The big check." And what I've learned in business, right, is when you're known by a name other than yours, but it's still synonymous with you and what you do, but it's not your name. That's when you reach another level
Mm.
of business and connection to the community. The example I give is the cotton swab that you use to clean your ears sometimes. No matter what brand that is a Q-tip, right?
Yeah. Or
100%.
And
Kleenex.
the chocolate wafer cookie with the cream in the middle, no matter what brand it is, it's an Oreo,
Yeah.
right? And so if I can be known by Big Check Express instead of Capital Insurance Group while still being insurance, right? When people hear Big Check Express, they that's synonymous with savings, service, and CIG. So yeah, it works.
Oh, that's
Have
awesome.
you been a politician?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
You
I
know,
have. Guilty.
I heard a cool
Guilty.
thing about that a bit. Like it's the same strategy, and it's like what
Yeah.
the politicians do, right?
Right.
They like either negative or positive, but like John Kerry, what's John Kerry? Everybody know flip flopper, right? Like I mean that's the thing.
That's what he was
Like
known as.
yeah,
Yeah, he
and
was.
it's
He
like, oh, well,
was.
sure, everybody changes their decision, but you make it
Right.
something that's
When
easy
our
to
branches,
remember. And then
yep. I remember the one guy was a maverick.
yeah, Maverick. It's like, oh
Maverick.
yeah,
I mean, Maverick. Yeah, he's
McCain,
a maverick. He's our
John
maverick, right?
McCain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. John McCain was a maverick.
Like you
You never
just
forget that stuff. You never forget
yeah,
that stuff.
it's
Yeah.
amazing. Just associate the concept and idea
Yeah.
that has some emotional trigger behind
Yep.
it, and then that's
Put that
it.
emotional attachment behind it. The brand becomes bigger than the process, and the
Yeah,
process becomes a brand. So it's pretty cool. It's worked for
yeah,
us. Big Check Express is, and that's what we put on the commercials. Like call Don. It's like it's a you're getting on a cruise ship, and I'm the captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Captain Don Wilson is dropping you off at Home Auto. We're making stops at Home Auto, Business and Life. And but we got, yeah, then
That's
we say
awesome.
we got all the insurance mascots are on the ship entertaining people.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, we have a good time.
That's cool. How do you
Yeah.
translate that same concept? Because I'm sure you do this. Is how do you translate that to your team and hiring and getting them bought into your concept?
Yeah, yeah. So the big thing that we do is, even though Big Check Express is the brand, right, and that's the slogan and stuff like that, and that's tied to money, right. We are 100% grounded in coverage, and so we kind of geek out on coverage, and we let people know one, like I said earlier, make our process your process because if you're authentically yourself, people buy into that.
Yep.
I genuinely care, and I still answer the phones and do intakes and all that stuff. Like, I don't know what it is about me, but I genuinely care what someone does for work. Like, I talked to a lady yesterday. She was a after school counselor or something, and I was like, "Oh man, what kind of stuff do you like?" I genuinely care. And so when you're authentically yourself, and I tell people, we're hiring you. We're not hiring you at Capital. We're hiring you. So never give up the part that we're hiring. Right? Don't lose yourself in our process. Right, and that's the key thing. I want all of my staff, all my leadership, top to bottom, to just be authentically themselves and brand themselves, right? Just as I've done for myself. Because if I hold them back from doing that, I'm losing a
Yeah.
true opportunity for them to be authentic. I
Yeah.
truly believe
Well, and they're more interested and like they enjoy their job if they can be themselves, right? I mean, you look at the disc test and like what happens to somebody if they're not if they can't be their natural state, right? Like it's just like they're gonna
And
leave.
I'm super silly, man. I got my alter ego. It's Don Tootin, right? And I'll wear a cowboy hat into the office, and I'll play like the old Western music, and I'll walk around like I've got spurs on my. I wear Jordans and Nikes to work. I'll walk around like I've got spurs, and I'll walk up and I'll act like I'm chasing varmint.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
do that, and then I tell you what else we do. Once a week, I'll do I'm a dad jokes. I'm the dad jokes king, and we do that. and then we do some sort of taste test, right? And I will tell my remote staff they've got to answer the phones because there's something important happening. And one year we did Girl Scout cookies. One year my operations manager, who's like third in command, she told me that she could taste the difference between like Aquafina and all the different
Oh
waters. So
yeah, come on.
shut the office down. I said, no, right now. I
That's
had one
it.
of my employees, I gave him $20. I said, buy six different kinds. We're doing this. We're doing this right now. We're doing this right now. Like if I'm being silly in the office, right? We don't let the phones go to voicemail. But the staff here, we lock in on that because it gives you that release from the
Oh,
stresses that can be work, right? And I'll tell either a dad joke, which I've got a few of the best ones in the world, and then and then or I'll do some sort of like a taste test or something like that. We did sodas one year. I could tell the difference between each soda, no matter what kind of Coke. No, and they couldn't. And the girl Carly, my operation manager, been with me almost 6 years. She could not taste the difference. The cheap water she thought was the most expensive. The most expensive she thought was the cheap because you just can't do
It's
that.
so funny. Like, why? Like, all of us probably think that there's something that no matter what, we could nail it. And then, like, oh, yeah, let's do the blind taste. And it's like, nope.
The reason you know is because you're looking at the label, right?
Right.
yeah.
Right.
It's like I knew that was mac and cheese from such and such. Yeah, because you bought it from there and you're looking at the you're
Right.
looking at the box. Like
Yeah.
you will not get it blindfolded, and she did not. I think she got like two out of the six right. Like
And it was luck. Like, our,
yeah,
our,
but
our
it's very
brain doesn't even remember correctly
no,
situations
no,
that we're in, right? Like, I mean,
exactly,
it's
exactly.
like eyewitness testimony is like the gold
Never,
standard, and it's
never, never.
terrible. Like
Yeah,
it's inaccurate, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. It changes everything. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So we have a good time. We have a good time.
and it reinforces too what you were just talking about branding and how,
Yeah.
the importance of that, right? Because people can't see the difference between branding and like their own personal view on something, like the power of that.
You're
What?
right, and so yeah, you're 100% right. It really you're almost a predisposition to figure to like something, right?
Yeah,
Like if you blind taste tested people on Chick-fil-A, they may not like it as much,
yeah,
but that brand is so strong, right?
yep.
That
Yeah.
it makes it even taste better. Yeah. So
Well, I mean, even so, you said you wear Nikes. Like, you don't wear Adidas, you don't wear
no,
Reeboks, you wear
that's Michael.
Nikes, right?
That's the
Like,
Michael
and
Jordan effect.
Yep.
see, it's
The
so
Michael Jordan.
interesting.
My
Just because,
son, I showed my son. He's so brainwashed. We're big sneakerheads. We got about a 450 pair of shoe collection between the
that's all.
two of us. We got a whole shoe room dedicated to it. It's climate controlled. It's got its own keyless access.
Oh
But I showed
wow.
him the Anthony Edwards Adidas, which are absolutely amazing. I'm a 44-year-old man, so I can admit that this pair of Adidas is nice.
Yeah.
I showed J Man. He was like, I don't like those. My son, I don't like. I'm like, do you like them? Not like them because they're Adidas, or do you not like them? He was, I just don't like them. I just don't. I just don't like
And
it.
the
I'm
utility,
telling
it
you,
does the same thing, right?
it's the
Like, for utility,
same
it doesn't
thing.
matter. Who
Yeah,
cares, right?
goes
It's
back to the
overpriced.
Q-tip thing, right? Yeah, it goes back
Yeah.
to the Q-tip. Every
Yeah.
cotton swab is pretty much the same, but
Yeah.
Q-tips are the number one seller,
Yeah.
and there's nothing to it. It's just a stick with cotton on it,
Yeah.
So good.
right?
All right, I want to hear. I want to hear a couple dad jokes.
Okay, I got my top three. Okay, you ready?
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna
I got
say
my
top
top three.
three.
All right. All right. So, what do a tick and the Eiffel Tower have in common?
They both suck.
They're both parasites. All right. That's one. That's one. All right. Here's another one. What fruit hates weddings in Las Vegas?
I don't know why I want to say kiwi, but that's not it.
Cantaloupe.
Oh,
That's an original. That's an original.
I
That's an
think we
original.
just lost all the women listeners.
Cantaloupe. And then the last one is how do you find Will Smith in the snow?
Oh, it's got to be something about the punching thing. I
No,
don't
you
know.
look for the Fresh Prince.
Oh, that's good.
Those are my top three. Those are my top. But the
Freaking love the
cantaloupe is
Fresh
original.
Prince.
Trademark is trademarked. If you use it, I get residuals on that.
The Fresh Prince one, that is awesome.
The
The
Fresh
Cantaloupe's
Prince,
good
yeah.
too, because the Cantaloupe one I like about that one is it sounded like we were going not PC on that.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
And I almost made a
right.
comment about Craig, but then I was like,
What?
maybe not. And then you brought up Cantaloupe, and I'm like, oh, it's completely PC. That is good.
Cantaloupe.
That
Yeah.
one would get somebody uncomfortable maybe at the beginning, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, where is he going with this? Yeah, yeah. Those are my three. My kids will watch this and cringe.
Oh, that's
All right,
good.
so you got the commercial. I'm sure that you didn't start off by launching expensive commercials and branding and getting people in that way. So what has been your mechanism to get in new clients?
So we go door to door on for businesses. We take. I'm the pastry guy. We get a white box
No
from
more
the pastry
packets,
store.
not packets.
Package don't work because people like to eat. Man, give me some cookies and candy. We go to a local pastry shop everywhere our offices are. I'm giving away some of the secret sauce here. We have stickers made. We put the stickers on the boxes and we drop them off to the gatekeeper because we're just trying to break the ice. I don't even say anything. The stickers on the box, they see me. I'm known around most of the towns where we have offices at. Hey, real quick, I just want to drop off pastries, let you guys know how much we appreciate your business in town. Boom. I come back the next week, more pastries. Hey, is Bob or Jill or whoever the decision maker in? Are they in? Oh, let me. Well, I'm the pastry guy at that point. I'm no longer Don, the insurance guy. It's like
Right.
the same
Yeah.
guy that brought these great pastries is back with more pastries. Let me get Jill or Bob or Jack or whoever the decision maker is. And he comes out or she comes out and goes, thanks for the pastries last week. And again, and boom, I'm in there. Oh, here's my card. If you ever need me. Well, actually, I do. Funny that you asked, Don.
Yeah.
That works. So use that around the country, just
So
not in
so
West Virginia or Carolina.
you're going after business owners. So you're going for commercial. So basically, it's almost a one to many play, right? Like you're like a lot of us are going after two autos, or like a household, but you're going in trying to get the commercial and of course it's spider webs into everything, right?
We always write the gatekeeper because
Oh,
he and I become best friends.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're bringing pastries. Oh man, they're set. Sometimes we bring coffee. We'll bring bagels, and then after they become a client, they get it. They get it. Yeah, they're happy to see me. Right. If you can make the gatekeeper happy to see you,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
funny. My wife has always said that too. Like she's not
yeah,
in sales or she's like
right.
corporate, does whatever, but she always makes friends with the person up front because they have all the information, they know what's going on. They
They're your good neighbor. They're on your side. You're in
Yep.
good hands.
They hear everything, right? And they know the little
Yeah,
gossip. So if something comes up, they're
exactly,
gonna say
exactly.
something and yeah.
And then it goes back to the branding. Big Check
Yeah.
Express is now Capital Insurance Group.
Yeah.
Pastry guy, insurance guy just became pastry guy.
Yeah.
And then pastry
Man,
guy becomes big check guy.
exactly. Who would you rather talk to, the insurance guy or the guy with cookies?
Right.
Come on. Nobody. We're not even. We're insurance guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would rather talk to the
Dude.
guy with cookies. Right.
100%. Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. So we did that. And then, like I said, I'm well known around town. BNI has been great to me. Business Network International has been great. And then, like I told you, we had the Dave Ramsey relationship, which we've had essentially for about 5 or 6 months of the agency's existence. Now, we started out really small, with that, and it's expanded into multiple states. Yeah.
Super cool. I'm not familiar with the Dave Ramsey stuff when it comes to insurance.
Well, he gives financial advice. He has a huge following. You go to his website if you're in a particular zip code and you need insurance, it's coming to me.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
realize so he's kind of a middleman.
yeah. He sends his listeners to exclusively independent agents. He's big on independent agents, and I've been working with Dave and his staff for 8 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
All 50 states. He's got someone in all 50 states. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And and when you go, I know this is kind of going backwards, but when you go into, like, let's say a business that you're buying the pastries for. Are what policies are you typically getting? Like, what's your 80/20 on that?
So yeah, it's commercial, typically commercial, and then we'll end up getting the owner, the gatekeeper, and maybe one other personal lines in the business. We'll do some voluntary benefits, some payroll deducted, the cafeteria plans. We'll do obviously the BOP and the EPLI and the
Man.
workers' compensation and all that stuff. We get all that. Yeah,
So
we round out accounts.
what's the
Yeah.
average new business owner worth to you?
Commission wise, probably 700 to $1,000.
up
Yeah.
front.
Once we round out the account, yeah,
A
yeah.
year,
So
right?
Oh yeah, every
Yeah.
year, year over year. Yeah,
and
year
then they
over year.
stay forever, right? Because
Yeah.
you're independent, you can shop them and all that.
Now we do have accounts from that pay us, 25, $35,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there specific business owners that you're going after rather than others?
Oh yeah, specific. Yeah, very, very, very deliberate. Yeah.
Nice.
We do neighborhoods. So I'll drive through a neighborhood, I'll spot 10, 12 businesses on a Monday, and then that following Wednesday, or I'll go out on Friday and ride around, and then that following Monday, I'm dropping off pastries. Yeah.
What's your close rate from a cold
Yeah.
new business into
It's
becoming a client?
typically about 90 to 120 days. So it's about four stops, probably $22, $40 spent, right? And
Good acquisition
typically
cost.
we'll close one out of four. Yeah, one out of
25%.
four.
Damn.
That's
So
awesome.
we're targeting one specific business,
Right.
right? We go, oh, that would be the one, but we go into 10 or 12, right? And sometimes the one becomes five, right? So it's
Right.
Yeah.
18. I think it's 18 to 25% is where we're closing on those. Now it's a 120-day proposition
Right.
Right.
because as you know, in the commercial world, especially with workers' compensation, they need to be renewing, right? You don't want to just break their renewal on workers' comp plan. You got to vet them. One, they need to already be insured. Like in our agency, we turn away as many clients as we accept, right? Because we
Mm.
have a very specific target demographic when it comes to business owners, what classes of business we'd like to write, and then on the personal side, we are very, very, very selective. We don't have a non-standard market. We have markets, but we don't really feed the
It's just
non-standard markets at
freaking,
all. Yeah.
that's brutal.
Yeah. The
It's a
first
whole
question
different.
I'm talking about, we qualify you in the first 10 seconds. Hey, can I get a quote on insurance? Are you currently insured? I'm not. Sir, we can't help.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hi.
Sir, no, we can't
Sorry.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 seconds. Because I have an economics background, from college, and opportunity cost is the most detrimental thing that you could possibly waste. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, you're doing the 80/20. You're only doing the 20% that cashes the 80% of the checks.
We know our target demographic, man. One of my buddies owns a huge uh, plumbing and HVAC company, and I tried to give him a referral like to a municipality years ago. It would have been like massive amounts
Yeah.
of revenue for him. He was like, "Nah, I'm good, man. We don't. That's not our space."
And you're like,
Mm.
It's like, "Oh, I need to do that. Like,
right.
yeah, I need to do that.
I
Like,
mean,
I got to do that. Yeah,
it's so good because it makes you just so good at that niche. And I
yeah.
mean, that's,
You stay in that niche
yeah.
repetitive. We have a bullseye at each desk, right? And the bullseye is so small. If you look at, you're playing darts, the bullseye is tiny, right?
Yeah.
It's as wide as the tip of the dart.
Yeah.
Everything else is the board.
Yeah.
That bullseye is our target demographic. Now, you may, like the spots right outside the bullseye, those are people that have 5 out of 6 things that we're looking for. And then
Yeah.
you go further up, they got 4 out of 6. Now, once you get to 3 out of 6 of those things, come on now.
Mm.
You got 2 out of 6. Do we really? 1 out of 6? You don't have any of them? And here we are running quotes, like,
Yeah.
what are
Right.
we doing here? What are we
Yeah.
doing here?
You don't
Yeah,
get time back. That's it,
you
right?
don't
You
get it
waste that
back.
time, it's gone.
It's the only thing that we all have the same on.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a day.
And I bet your staff, because they're not dealing with the knuckleheads, I bet you anything that they're happier.
Oh, yeah. And they're more strict than me. I'm telling you, I'll go, hey, we got this lead, this man, it can turn it. And they're like, listen, we're not doing that. Like my operations manager, she is no nonsense. Like she goes, Don, but this doesn't qualify for us. It does not qualify for us. The
You're like,
agents, the
damn
carriers
it,
may
that's
want
why I
it.
hired you.
Yeah, the carriers may want it, and it could be a $3,500. Nope,
Yeah, the
not a fit
amount of
for us.
time you save yourself on the back end and the front, probably, right? It's just stay
We
focused.
save ourselves a lot of headaches, a lot of time, uh, unnecessary headaches that we avoid.
I
That most agencies, we refer. I got
Yeah,
in my BNI chapter as a guy at another agency. I'm like, we'll send you some of our people because we're not taking any and everybody.
yeah.
It's specific, man. Yeah,
It's especially at the beginning, like that's the wisdom that you just get from doing it for so long. But like at the beginning, you feel like, why would I give something up? It's everything. It's like, no,
and I
no.
remember my old boss used to tell me, yeah, I was like, I'll never forget this. I had a client come in and goes, I got this rental property. I've been chasing this client forever. I got this rental property. It's man, they say it's a PC 9 or Protect Class 9, and it's $18,000. I'm gonna put 20,000 in it. And he's got like 50 other properties, and he's got another business. And I'm telling my old boss, I'm like, come on, if we're gonna get this, and this gonna turn into everything else. He said, as soon as that happens, brother, I will give you 100% of your commission for the year. We want to do a commission split. He goes, that guy's gonna have you do this property when it's renovated and nice. He's gonna move it to his other agent. He
Yeah.
goes, it never materializes. We used to have this thing where we were gonna rehab clients, right? We'll sell them a non-standard today, and then we'll move them.
Oh yeah.
Man, they were 6 month policy. They lapsed 2 months in.
Yep.
So it never materializes, and you
Yeah.
can't do favors. You have to do business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
Wisdom
Can't do
right there.
favors.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the luxury high end market of anything because there's less competition and it's a happier situation. But like a lot of people don't have the balls to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it takes
It's painful.
yeah.
It's painful because you don't have as many opportunities,
Right.
right? But you don't have any competition because if you have my target demographic to 100%, then we're competition. But if you're
Right.
96%, 4% of the time, we're not going after the same people. We're not. And
Right.
I had a guy tell me this morning. He's in the in-home healthcare business. He goes, "Man, one thing about your business is there's a lot of competition." I go, "I don't have any competition. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. That's why I'm so friendly with the other agents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind it because we're not in competition.
Well,
I'm in
you
a different
sorry.
different. I'm in a different place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you don't have competition on your work ethic either, right? Because if anybody's going to do the donut show, right? They're going to do it once. And then nobody called me, that doesn't work, right? But you're like it's 120 days. As long as I do it every week, then every week 120 days out, it keeps coming in.
it's a system. I know exactly how long it takes me to run a quote. I
Yeah.
look every time. I know how long my average intake is between 13 and 17 minutes.
Mm.
My average quote time is between 5 and 7 minutes on each carrier site. I track literally everything,
Yeah.
and I try to get my staff. I'm like, time yourself. I know how many quotes I'm doing a day, how many intakes, how many calls it takes, everything.
So
Yeah,
interesting.
because the best advice I ever got was separating goals and desires, right? And
Mm.
it changed my life because I used to look at a sales goal and think it was a real thing, but it's an oxymoron, right? So a goal is something that you alone can control. A
Right.
desire takes action from someone else. So my goal, right, instead of getting 10 appointments, became to make 60 calls. The 60 calls led to 10 appointments.
Yep.
But
Mm.
guess what? Even if I made 60 calls and didn't get the 10 appointments, I celebrated because
Yep.
I reached my goal. And guess
Because
who
it'll
can stop
happen.
me from reaching my goal?
It'll
Just
happen.
me. Yep.
I
If I
mean, we
call
need to.
120 people and don't get 20 appointments, come on. It's not
Yeah.
possible, right? So you only focus on your action and ignore everyone else's action.
Dude, it goes back to like sports and stuff. Like the champions of any sport look at stuff like that. They know that it's always going to be actions. They know that most actions, I mean, you look at like even baseball, if you have a 300 batting average, you're crushing it. But it's like, dude, you're only getting 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. And have you ever heard a coach after like a playoff game, like Steve Kerr or Phil Jackson, someone legendary coaches, and there
Yeah.
was one big play that lost the game to us, and the
Mm,
coach goes, "No, that wasn't the play that lost the game." And they're like, "Yes, it is." He goes, "But if we would have done this, and this in the first quarter and second quarter, we'd have been up by 10 points or down by 10.
that's
If
Yeah.
those things don't go right, that play was just one of 73 plays
Yeah.
100%.
because it's
Everything
the
led to that play.
process." Yep, I tell my employees ignore the results because you can throw up a half court shot over your head and it go in the net,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But what's the process? And I always tell people, Steph Curry, you know what he's working on right this second? His jump shot.
Yeah.
Mm.
His jump shot. He's
I
it's
mean,
already perfected.
yeah.
But guess what he's working on? His jump shot right
I
this
mean,
second.
Kobe shooting those free throws every day before and after, staying longer. I mean, it's like, I mean, there's a reason why Shaq couldn't hit it and why Kobe could, right?
Somebody spent time trying and somebody
Right.
did.
Yeah.
Right, right. Exactly.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get
Exactly.
they get the misses out of the way in those
Ignore the
practices.
results, man.
Yep.
Ignore the results. There's too many factors that we call them externalities. There's too many factors that you can't control. No time. What if the guy was calling the quote just to get quotes and his brother-in-law's his agent or his sister's his agent? You're not
Yeah.
getting that business, man. I remember going into a huge pharmacist here, huge pharmacy, and every time I go, like first 3 times I went, they're like, "He's out with John." I'm like, "John must be the vice president." And then, he's out with John. Man, John must be his CFO. Well, no, John was his insurance agent. They were playing golf.
Yeah.
I
You're
stopped
not getting
coming.
that
I
one.
stopped showing up. I stopped showing up. Give me my pastries. I'm getting out of here. If John is playing golf with him, there's no way. And I'm telling you, another big thing, too, to be careful with, because I know a lot of agents listen to this, be careful advertising for commercial insurance, right?
Mm,
Advertising for it. Commercial insurance is intimate, it's one on one, right?
Yeah.
Because if you advertise for commercial insurance and that prospect that you're going after has a great relationship with their agent, like John and this huge retail pharmacist guy, right? If I advertise employment practice liability or cyber security and I'm telling it, I'm printing it in the advertising, I'm talking about it on the radio and I'm doing all this stuff, he's going to call John and go, "Hey, John, do I have such and such and such and such?" And John's gonna go, "No, you don't." He's gonna jump. Add that to my policies.
You just
And
sold it
guess
for
what
him.
you just did? You just made John an extra commission.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just
yeah.
earned, because I'm telling you, look at the big boys, right? All the big outfits. How many times did they go, "And our commercial insurance"? None of them. It's
Right.
all it's all really the mascots and stuff like that. Everybody's got a mascot. They're talking about personal lines insurance because a personalized person may not call their agent because they're looking at the brand, but a commercial client, right, is going to call their guy and go, "Did you
Yeah.
do this for me?" And their guy's going to go, "No, I didn't, but we should. I've been meaning to tell you about that.
Right.
I was just about to call about this." Oh, well,
That's crazy. I was going to call you tomorrow about that.
Let me ask you a question about that. So if it's such an intimate relationship, which 100%, that is the most amazing advice. Then how do you control that as the business owner and you have your staff going out making these connections? How do you, Don Wilson, bond with your new clients that came in through Sally at the office?
right. So you're saying, so I'm the one prospecting at my offices. I do the
Oh, okay.
prospecting. Everyone else in my offices, and so we turn the insurance industry a little bit upside down. Only one person other than myself makes commission. Everybody else is salaried or quarterly bonuses and stuff like that. So
Mm.
I'm the one going out prospecting and doing this stuff commercial wise.
So you're the one bringing in everybody, everybody else.
I'm the one bringing in the leads, prospecting, meeting with people one on one. Is never my client. It's never my employees unless it's a personal lines account. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Wow. This has been incredible. Let me ask you a question. I mean, you've given so many awesome pieces of advice. I don't, like asking for another one is crazy. But what would you give advice for somebody that's coming up that might be making that transition like you did 18 years ago, or making the transition into leaving something that was awesome like you did 8 years ago to do this new thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is AI going to take away the opportunity?
We use AI.
Yeah. I
We're
mean,
using AI. Yeah, we use AI every day in our
yeah.
agency.
I mean, it's crazy that
Answering
people don't.
phones or breaking down deck pages or what. And so what I would say is especially someone that's already in another industry, right? Looking to make this jump, or even if you're in the industry, I would say be patient, right? Be patient. Be mindful of your competition, right? Because you do have competition when you're first starting. Because your target demographic may be your target demographic, but you can't turn down any and everyone when you're in this business. But I would say hold to your guns, right? Define that target demographic early, right? And then find some centers of influence. And what's a center of influence? It's a person that can open a door that you can't. They have a vested interest in your success, and they're willing to help you meet people that you couldn't on your own,
Yeah.
right? So they have to have a vested interest in your success and be willing to help, right?
Mm.
And then they have to have the ability to introduce you to people that you couldn't, right? So what I was told was to draw a boardroom table, right? And put myself at the head of the table and then put 8 seats around that table. Those 8 people are the people that are going to help you get to where you want to be in life and in business, right? But they have to have that vested interest. They have to be willing to help, and they have to have the ability to introduce you to people that you couldn't otherwise meet. And
Yeah.
those people in my life, Bob Ferguson, George Manahan, and so many other people, have helped me get to where I'm at, and I'm forever grateful and indebted to
Yeah.
those people because without them, I wouldn't be here.
I think going forward, it's like that patience is so tough. I mean, I think it was for us, and you look to now, like everything is now. So I just hope that they could take, anybody listening that's younger, like really understand that you'll get there. You just got to take that time, right? There's a little bit of time that has to go into it, and we were all chomping like we got to do it now, but you have to have that patience.
Yeah. And if you know in your heart, even when you're making $28,000 a year, that you've got what it takes to make it in this business, give yourself time because it does. It's a game of attrition. It's a game of numbers. And as long as you focus on your output instead of the outcomes, you can really make it in this business. And
Oh
in
man.
any, yeah,
Yeah. Changing to only being focused on the activity, total
yes.
game changer, right?
We
Like I mean
ignore, we
that
ignore we ignore results.
yeah, doesn't matter. They're gonna happen,
It's going to
Like if we do all these things, we're gonna write 200K a month. That's just the way it works.
yes, it
Like
just it
so
just is.
it
No
just
matter
like
what
I
you
don't
do.
even look at the month
Yeah.
end half the time. Like Jason even said it, post your result. It's like I don't even know what it was because it doesn't matter. They hit
And let's
everything.
say
I know
let's
it
say
hit it.
you want to write 450 a quarter. If you write 100 and 100, that next month's gonna be 250, man. It
Yeah.
just
Right.
is because
Yeah.
you're doing the right things, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Steph
Yeah.
Curry doesn't change his jump shot because he misses 3 times. And I
Right.
Right.
tell I tell my friends it's always funny, and I always bring up Steph Curry because he's a numbers anomaly because he's such a good shooter, the best shooter of all time. But anytime he goes like 1 for 13, I text my friend group, he's going to have 10 threes in one
Put
of the
money
next
on
5
him.
games. One of the next 5 games, he's going to have 10 threes. It's going to happen. And
Yep.
every time, if he goes 1 for 17 from three, the next time he's 11 for 15. And there's the average.
Yeah. The
There's the
numbers
average.
always the numbers don't lie, man. They
If
always
your
pan out.
process is tried and true, the
Yep.
numbers will fall where they
Yep.
Yeah.
where they, where you want them to.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I love
And
it.
the challenge is just managing the emotions on the
Yep.
in betweens.
Yep. That's the hard part.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was tough, man. I was such a go. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna get this guy to do this. No, has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And I tell my employees, and when they go, but they didn't do it. Then I go, then they're not one of our clients. They
Yeah.
didn't play by our rules. Then they're
Right.
not a client of ours. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't follow our process. Then they're not a client.
Well,
That's
there you
okay.
go. That's
Yep.
okay.
That's okay.
Not everybody gets to be.
I always laugh when I see a client because we do like drastic stuff on homeowners with like coverages and stuff, like really high limits for like the ancillary coverage, the sewer and drain and equipment breakdown and all that stuff. And I always laugh when a client goes, found a cheaper price going to somewhere else. I'm like, okay, okay. Did it have this though? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
100%. Awesome, Don. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your wisdom.
I
You went the
appreciate those
distance.
dad jokes are now yours to use. Whatever you want to use.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I'll make sure I have the direct deposit set up so you get your residual too.
But the grenades are sold separately.
Yeah. if anyone is looking to reach out, get a hold of you, or
Yeah.
where's all the places?
Yeah, so our offices typically West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, North Carolina, Virginia, where we primarily have offices. But to reach me, man, just it's my email, don@cigwv.com, or give us a call at 304-993-SAVE and mention the Big Check Express.
There you go. And
I
Jason, why
love
don't
it.
you go ahead and drop your cell phone for everybody?
Oh yeah, 714.
That's the office number. My cell phone is
Well, thank you, Don. It's freaking awesome to have you on. Would love to catch up down the road, get you back on, and it was great. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom.
Thanks, guys. Best of luck.
Yeah.
Awesome. You too, Don.
See ya.
Bye.